I can say nobody should go to work in Lagos.
I'm just asking you, so nothing wrong with it. It's not about whether or not it carried any weight, but they said it.
Yeah, I have to say what they like. Unless you see, I'll have a problem when they say go and block the road. You can tell what I'm saying. Don't go out.
Mr. Odidika, we did not see any governor say that for those who do not come to work on that day, which was not a public holiday, a national public holiday, yes, not even a public holiday declared by the state, we did not hear any state governor saying people will be sanctioned.
But what you need to find out as a journalist is, did people go to work, for instance, in Enugu, in Oka, in Umuahia, and so and all Aweri? Did people go to work?
I'll ask you that.
I don't know. I live in Lagos and Abuja. I don't live in the East. And my father is quite retired, so I couldn't have asked him that, did you go to work? So it's for you to find out. But from what I heard, some people went to work. So if people went to work...
If you say some people went to work, I mean, our cameras were out on the street on that day.
Yes.
And of course, activities were extremely skeletal, even to the point where private sector businesses were not open. Banks who opened, were very discreet about it. The people could not openly open, as it were. Do you think that, some comments by the southeastern governors, if they were not in support of it, would have shown that perhaps they really weren't in support of it?
I'll answer this with a mini story. There was a time something happened in Lagos, because my head office is in Lagos. People were not supposed to come to work. I didn't bother telling myself not to come to work. But they all came to work. When we didn't come to work, I would rather have fired you. At least I would have queried you. It's not my business what you heard. If it's a national holiday, we're all bound to stay at home except for emergencies. But if some group says, don't come out, and you don't come to work, I could decide to punish you. So the state governors not saying anything prior to the sit at home, prior to the date, the 30th of May, does not suggest that they did sanction those who didn't come to work. It's for you to find out.
We haven't heard of any sanctions.
First of all, I have to be sure they didn't go to work.
Well, we know they did not go to work because our cameras were out.
You remember the question is, do I see anything wrong?
So do we see anything wrong? Exactly.
I don't see anything wrong in somebody saying, don't do this. I don't see anything wrong with that. And let me tell us something. You see, before the civil Nigeria-Biafra War of 1967, I went to school in a rural area in Igbo land, Enugu State. I'm not from Enugu, I'm from Anambra State, called Oye. The name of the school is St. Teresa's, Oye, primary school. We celebrated on the day of Feast of St. Teresa's. We didn't go to school. My headmaster was Ignatius. On the day of celebration of St. Ignatius, we didn't go to school. And then we had all these other things. And then I went to CIC, which is a Catholic school. Those things were celebrated and were work-free days for the area. Now, we are then, because the regions could do what they wanted to do and then come together and act as a union at the federal level. But now that everything is unitary, values have...
Mr. Odidika, we know that on June 12, some states declare public holidays. We've seen that happen. We know that there have been agitations by certain sections in the Southeast, certain groups in the Southeast for a secession in this country. We also know that this seems to be stemming out of that two groups will come out and say, on this day, people should not go to work. We do not get any statement, apart from that of the Deputy Senate President, saying that this sit-at-home order should be optional. We did not get any statement from any political leader, apart from the Deputy Senate President, saying anything on it. And you say that you don't see anything wrong with it.
If you allow me to learn, because I was going somewhere with the 30th May sit-at-home thing. First of all, I was going to the values. I'm an Igbo man. The Igbo people respect their dead. I lost my uncle. My mother's been a younger brother during that war. So if we say 30th May of every year, we don't want to work. We want to remember our dead heroes, our dead people. We have a right to do that. We have a right to do that. I am not for secession. I say it here. I am not for secession. My practice, in fact, I have practices, including in Abeokuta. I have an office in Abeokuta.
Do you think that it could have, impinged on the rights of other people who perhaps, other groups? We must also note that, not only Igbo people live in the Southeast.
Correct.
Do you think that it could have also, impinged on the rights of other people who lived in the Southeast?
Could it have? And that's part of the thing these groups are saying. That by my saying, don't come out, I was impinging on the rights of constitutional right of people to move around and go about their lawful business.
Could they have
Did they prevent anybody from going out. Did anybody come out and was? In fact, remember, normally there would have been a demonstration, moving around peacefully. But anytime they came out, they were shot. So what did they do? Rather than come out and be shot, let's stay home. So you let us say I'm a northerner, doing my normal cattle or goat trading. I could come out to Niger Bridgehead to sell my cows and my goods. Now, if I'm not patronized because people didn't come out, how does that affect? How have I impinged on your right?
Odidika, I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
Have you heard of people forcefully being issued ID cards, being asked to pay certain monies because they need or they must support this cause of Biafra? Have you heard of any
forcefully?
Such? Yes, any such.
I've not heard of anybody being forced to.
Okay. Well, we'll take a moment now, and we will continue this discussion when we return from this break. Do stay with us.